Se você chegou em casa, trancou sua magrela, trocou o cadeado do portão, perdeu a chave, vou te ensinar a espocar um cadeado desse, trancadinho. Deixa essas duas chaves combinadas, engatou de um lado, engatou do outro, ela vai servir como pressão. Chave bom. Diz aí.
I'm sure you've seen that done a dozen times on YouTube. I know I have. Somebody picks a lock and it's entertaining, but you don't learn much from that. How does a key work in a pin tumbler lock, and how do you use a pick to turn the plug if you don't even have a key? I'm sure you've seen one of these before. This is a common pin tumbler key-in knob cylinder. This one happens to have a Schlage keyway. It's the same kind of cylinder you'll find in every deadbolt and keyed doorknob and keyed door lever that you're probably going to run across. I'm going to take the tailpiece off and the cap. I have to take the cap off so that I can remove the plug from the shell, and we'll see what it looks like inside. Okay, I've removed the tailpiece, and all I have to do now is turn the key a little bit, and I can use a plug follower here and push the plug right out of the shell. This is the shell, this is the plug, and you can see that the plug is drilled here for 5 pin tumblers. And if I withdraw the key a little bit and then reinsert it all the way, you can see that because this is the right key for these tumblers, the tumblers line up perfectly at the top. They form what we call a shear line, and you can see how that would turn in the shell. That's the shell, that's the plug. You put them together, you have a cylinder. Okay, I'm going to insert this instructor's cutaway lock, they call it a mega cut, into our Cyclops lock picking stand. By the way, you can get these at www.lockpickers.com, which will take you to lockpickersmall.com. And let me tilt the stand a little bit here to get a better view of what's going on. Clamp it in good and tight in the Cyclops. And okay, I've got a good view of it here. You can see that with the right key, correct key inserted, the bottom pins, which are green here so that you can see them more easily, correspond perfectly to the cuts or the stations of the key. And you can see that there's the top pins right there. When they're the correct pins for the key, it forms a shear line and the key will rotate the plug. You can also see here that the longer bottom pins correspond to a deep cut in the key, and likewise a less deep cut or a shallow cut corresponds to a shorter pin tumbler. When all of these pin tumblers are the correct ones for the key, you get a shear line right there, and it will allow the key to turn because there's nothing projecting up into the top chamber. Okay, I've got a quick set version of the Mega Cutaway Instructor's cylinder, and I've removed all but one pin stack. A pin stack is when you have a bottom pin, a top pin, maybe a master wafer, we don't have any in there, and a spring. That makes a pin stack. And because this bottom pin is the right one for this key, the plug will rotate easily. And you'll see why I'm going to make a point here. Okay, now you'll see if I remove the key, what happens is the bottom pin falls further down into the plug. The top pin drops a little bit into the plug, part way in. That prevents the plug from turning. Even with just one pin stack, we can't turn the plug because that top pin is sitting on top of the bottom pin, driven by the spring, and it's pinning the plug. If I had all of these other stations pinned, we'd have 5 pin stacks preventing that plug from rotating. And to demonstrate what this means is, let me insert this pick in here, and you'll see that I just have to lift it up very slightly. We've only got one pin stack in here. If I just lift it up slightly, I can get that bottom pin right up to the shear line just with lifting one pick. If we had only one stack of pins in a lock, that's all we'd have to do to pick it. Just have to lift it up, and then if I had a tension wrench here, I don't think I even need one. With this pick I can turn it. There we go. So it is super easy to pick a lock if there's only one pin stack in it. Well, what if we have more than one pin stack? Here I've got another 2 pin stacks. We've got position 2, 3, and 4 pinned up. If I insert a pick and just try to lift them all to the shear line at the same time, and keep in mind, in the real world, you're not seeing what's going on inside the lock. But here I can see that I can get one to the shear line by lifting it up. The others are just being at different levels because the bottom pins are different lengths. If I try to raise them all at once, you might get 1, maybe even 2 to the shear line, but you're going to have one that's not. And if you've got 5 pin stacks, you've got even more trouble. So by putting a pick in and just raising it up with tension on the tension wrench, you're not going to pick a lock. It's going to have to be done a different way. Okay, I've inserted a tension wrench in this cylinder, and I'm going to maintain just a little tiny bit of pressure on that wrench while I pick. You don't want much downward pressure at all, just barely enough to know that you're putting some turning tension on the plug. Otherwise you're going to cause the top pins to freeze up and you won't be able to get any pin action with your pick. Okay, I'm going to insert my pick in here. You can see that I don't have to do very much to cause all kinds of things to go on in there. The pin stacks are being always pushed back down by the top springs when I don't have tension on the tension wrench. Look what happens when I put a little bit of tension on the tension wrench. Magically, all of a sudden, as you can see, looking at positions 3 and 4, I've already trapped the bottom pins in the plug. The top pins are trapped up in the upper chamber, which gives me a shear line, meaning those two positions are already picked. You can see there I've got a little shear line. I've got 2 out of 5 picked already. Of course, the reason those 2 top pins are trapped up there is that the tension wrench is actually turning that plug a tiny bit, even though 3 out of 5 of the pin stacks have not been picked. And I can feel with my pick that there's less spring pressure in those 2 positions. So even though in the real world I wouldn't be able to see what's going on in that lock, I can feel that I've got a little less spring pressure on my pick in positions 3 and 4. Now sometimes your stacks that are already picked will become unpicked as you work on the lock. You just have to keep working at it until eventually you get all 5 of the pin stacks picked. I've got 3 now out of 5 there. I can feel there that the last 3 are giving me no spring pressure at all on my pick. So I know that I've got a couple left to pick, or at least I can surmise that. And you can see here position number 5 just got relocked as I continue to pick. That's very common. As I keep working at it though, what I'm trying to do is to trap the top pins in all chambers.
The pick tool. It's a snap pick gun deal. It's really nice. I've never actually got a chance to play with one of these. This is my first time. I really like it so far. What I got here are 2 quick set locks. We got a deadbolt and a bottom doorknob lock. And I ain't no pro at this, but I'm going to give it a shot for you guys. Both of these are locked. And sticking the tension tool there. Like I said, I ain't no pro, but I can see the potential with this. So far I've opened lots and lots of paddle locks and lots of deadbolts. As you can see how easy this is. Look at that. That's the snap tool, snap pick. I got this from lockpicktools.com. They had it out to me right away. Real nice tool. Comes with a double-sided tension wrench. I advise it.